This is Smiles TV. Welcome to Smiles Television Talk Show. I'm Stephanie Anthony Miles, your host, and you have a delightful broadcast in store for you today. We have a jam-packed broadcast, yes indeed. We'll be talking with Mr. Edwin Morrow, and he has a middle name, Edvanzd. And this gentleman is advancing his career and others along the way. And of course, our second half is What's on Your Mind with Dr. Dez. Stay tuned for more smiles. Remember, Jesus Christ was born of a virgin. He was crucified and buried, and he rose on the third day. Confess with your mouth that Jesus is Lord. Believe in your heart that God has raised him from the dead, and thou shalt be saved. Stay tuned for more smiles. When you visit Big Mama's in East St. Louis, Illinois, located at 5900 St. Clair Avenue, you will need a fork and a bib. Big Mama's is known for their barbecue, cakes, excellent service, and giving back to the community. Call in, eat in, drive through, carry out, order for your office. You can call Big Mama's at 618-398-8950 or visit 5900 St. Clair Avenue in East St. Louis, Illinois. Welcome back to Smiles. I'm sitting here with a gentleman from East St. Louis, Illinois, who has done some remarkable things. So remarkable that he's on the Hall of Fame at East St. Louis Senior High School, and you don't get there easily. Edwin, thank you for coming to Smiles TV.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. Yes, it's so nice to meet you.
Yes, indeed.
So, Edwin, give us your full name, because I think I've been jumbling it a little bit. Go ahead.
Edwin Edvanzd Morrow.
Now, tell me about that advance. I told people that that's there because you're advancing your career.
That's true.
And you're advancing others. So, tell us how you got started and what do you do?
I guess I would be a modern day Renaissance man, if you will. I started acting, child actor. My big break was with HBO movie Soul of the Game, where I played young Willie Mays. Okay. And that just opened the doors so much for me. And I went out to Hollywood and did my thing. You know, was amongst a lot of stars, a lot of films, a lot of TV shows. But I've always wanted to get behind the camera and see how it works back there, because I know that's where we need to be able to tell our stories.
That's right.
So we need more of us back behind the camera.
That's right.
And so I started producing, and that's been a great run for me. You know, that along with the music. So yeah.
And you know what, you mentioned something that's really great, because when I first started in radio television production way back in the day, where we were actually slicing tape with a razor blade and putting it together to edit. But my dream was to produce for other people and to get the stories told, because God maybe had given me a vision, and I wanted that vision told through others. I didn't want to be behind the camera, but so I understand what you're saying. So you went to Lincoln Senior High School in East St. Louis, and we don't hold that against you because I'm a flyer.
Oh, that's cool.
So you went to Lincoln. Let's go there. Let's talk about your family a little bit. I will say that your mom is a sweetheart.
Oh, yeah.
And for those of you who don't know, periodically I send text messages that are scripturally based, and his mom is a prayer warrior, and she's on that list, and she called and told me her son was in town. Yeah. A proud mother. Let's talk about your family. Okay. So you have brothers and sisters?
I have one sister. She's older than me, and what's funny is her name is Erica. And growing up, you know, we had our differences because, you know, the sibling rivalry. But once we became adults, then we really understood what it meant to be family, and like our bond is so strong now. It's
And so you went to Lincoln Senior High School.
Yep.
And how do you think Lincoln Senior High School prepared you for where you are today?
Lincoln was like it cultivated me. You know, there was so many good people, so many good teachers, a lot of great curriculum that expanded what I could see beyond just being in my personal bubble. So then when I was able to travel the world and see so many things and meet so many people, I was well prepared to just converse with them, just to relate with them, just to, just to be able to handle whatever life threw at me. So I have to, I have to give the Tigers.
That is refreshing to hear, because right now we're in the midst of changing the narrative of how people view East St. Louis. And you have so many negative stories, but we have you sitting here, first of all, expressing how great your education was.
Oh, yeah.
And then we're looking at you and listening to you and see how excellent you are. So you left Lincoln, and then where did you go from there?
So last class of Lincoln, that was great.
Oh, the actual last class.
Yeah. And so from there, went out to Los Angeles, went out to Hollywood to pursue my dream of acting in entertainment, and that was great. I learned a lot, so much, like the school of hard knocks, basically out there. A lot of film and TV. Nuances and tricks that I learned, and also learn how it works behind the scenes, and realize there's not enough percentage of us behind the scenes. And so that really drove me in that route.
What was the process of your attaining that first gig, I guess you called it, with HBO? We're doing that.
A lot of hustle. I actually barely got on as an extra. Right, just had to go to the casting agents, to their office, then I had to follow the director and everything. So they barely let me on as an extra. And I was like, I had told my mom, I said, wouldn't it be crazy if they actually offered me a role, because I'm like so all over the place. The next day on set, they said, you know what, the director wants you to see you. Gave me a script to audition with him. Auditioned, then we did a lot of ad-libbing back and forth, and he was like, you know what? I think we just found our young Willie Mays. They had been searching the country and they couldn't find him.
Oh, glory to God.
Oh my goodness, you tell me.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know what, and I gotta go back just a little bit, because we didn't talk about your immediate family, your wife and your son.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your wife, Shyla.
Yep. So I met my wife in Los Angeles. She's from Chicago. Playing spades at a mutual friend's birthday party, She's talking about how great she is. I'm talking about how great I am. I said, you know what? I like her. And I knew from that day. And I told her that. She didn't believe me, but I knew from that day.
And your son?
And my son, Maverick, who's 1 now. And he went viral on breakdancing. Yeah, we have a little.
We're gonna try to find that.
Yeah, you need to find that. Yeah, we had a little.
We put that in the clip.
Yeah.
Okay, we says. We got to find that.
Get on it. So yeah, we had a little breakdance battle, and it just started with me, teasing him and dancing to one of his videos. They have like this hip hop head, shoulders, knees, and toes version, and so I was just like, yeah, what you want to do? So I started, dancing with him, and then he started mimicking me, and then he added his own move. It was amazing. I was not prepared for it. Yeah,
and it went viral.
The cutest dance battle you'll ever see went down in Atlanta, Georgia. Daddy's up first.
Dad come with a new move.
Boom, he hit the ground. He's like, you got served.
I got my money on the kid.
Start off with a little carpet cleaning.
Yeah.
It's called the crawl.
Yeah, you didn't hear about it. It's new.
Transition into the shag.
Go.
All right, now he hits the floor for real this time. It's like, you're not the only one that can go in a circle, Dad. And Mom is an amazing hype woman, let's just be honest.
You got the foot now. You got the stinky foot.
Right here, he grabs his leg.
That's actually kind of impressive. Can anyone here grab their own foot like that? No.
I think he wins.
Yeah.
So you are now working on a new production.
Correct.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, so that one, that is it's dealing with the times that we're in, a sensitive time of predators who are in a seat of authority that should be protecting our youth. And so since they hide in plain sight by, it's based around a high school basketball sports movie, and so he wins so many championships, so as long as he keeps winning, no one questions, no one probes, and so it deals with that, which is perfect with the Time's Up movement. It's right on sync with that, you know. And so it's a very sensitive subject, but the way we handle it is very spot on.
Wow.
I think, yeah.
Okay, so what's the name of that going to be?
The V.
The V.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we don't have a lot of time because I do have another guest coming up. But
Sorry?
is there anything that we did not touch on that you want to share? And if we did, how about giving young people some advice who might be interested in following the path that you have chosen?
Gotcha. I say, you know, believe in yourself, believe in your heart, and know that God makes no mistakes. He made you. That means you're already perfect. So everything that you want to do, don't be afraid to do it. Just stand up and say, you know what? I am worth it. I am valuable. What I think is worthy of notice. You know, and that's the mindset I took through my entire life. Whether it was film, acting, music, it didn't matter. I took that with me, and it has helped me grow, and it's helped me persevere.
And you rap.
Correct.
Can you give us a 30-second?
Okay, I'll give you a little
30 seconds. Okay.
All right. Internally focused, I externally quote this. I'm verbally dope in my mind. I find explosive. I detonate and penetrate and stimulate the culture. Ventilate and interchange the pain of weight on shoulders for the rays of opus, for the days eviction notices were taped on doors and suggested we make an exodus. But the hate they showed us only shaped the clay that came to mold us. Ain't no thing that's made by human beings can break or fold us. And why lie? Cause I cried many a nights alone when nobody could see me. Nobody believed that I was grieving. Cause on the surface I look calm and easy. Mama needs me to be the king that I was raised to be. Persona leads me. So the mask I wear it, and the task I bear it. To all my cash inherently is shared through error parents. And as I stare apparently into this mirror image of all the best of me, the recipe of both his parents, and hopefully we sow the seed that grows in those supposedly of hoes and leads. It shows that he's a status quo of barons.
My goodness.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I like rap too.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to do that.
You ain't gonna. All right.
I told you I do listen to gospel gangster rap.
That's
People
right.
say, well, you can't be a gangster in the gospel. I'm like,
Hey, why
not? You know. But anyway, I want to thank you for joining us, and we do pray that you continue to excel.
Indeed.
And that you do well. And if you get the chance,
Yeah.
you know, you're already big, right? But as you get bigger, when you come back to Smiles TV and not forget about us.
Oh yeah, you know that.
Okay, all of the cameras, we got a 3-camera shoot going on, and we have them on each one.
I said it.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
Don't go away. Stay tuned for more Smiles.
For several generations, Personal Touch Boutique has met the needs of our community for proms, weddings, funerals, school uniforms. Personal Touch Boutique has awarded scholarships to our community. Personal Touch Boutique has kept the tradition of East St. Louis being the fashion capital of the USA for men's. Our collection of suits, shoes, shirt sets, coats, hats, and caps are priced for our community to step out with confidence. Check out Personal Touch Boutique at 1958 State Street in East St. Louis.
Welcome again for another What's on Your Mind with Dr. Des. Hello, how you doing? I am Dr. Des, Dr. Desiree Holmes, your resident psychologist, and we have another great show for you today. And today's guest, no doubt, will not disappoint. She is a colleague, she is a friend, she is a former supervisor, clinical supervisor of mine actually, from St. Louis University, none other than Dr. Patrice Pye. Let's welcome Dr. Pye! Yay!
Good
I'm so
morning.
excited to finally get you on the show.
Well, thank you.
Welcome. Dr. Pye, it is an honor to have you here on the show because truly you are a phenomenal woman. You're doing big things,
you.
you're doing great things. Just to kind of rattle off a few things, in addition to being a clinical psychologist, you are a United States Air Force vet where you were major. You were Major Pye. You were adjunct faculty at St. Louis University. You worked at the Women's Veterans Clinic. You were just recently awarded the 2019 Excellence Healthcare Award. You were featured in the St. Louis American, an article written on you in February 2019. You're just doing the thing. So welcome to the show. Tell us a little bit more about yourself.
It's a privilege to be here.
You're
it's
welcome.
a privilege to be here. I am from this area. I'm from East St. Louis and a native. And a scripture that was always shared with me was, to whom much is given, much is required. And that has really guided my life. So went to school at Catholic school in East St. Louis, went to Spelman for my undergraduate work, thought I'd never leave Atlanta, but came back to St. Louis U, and then left again when it was time to do my Air Force, time to do internship. That's when I went into the Air Force. And when I decided to get out, I went back to SLU as adjunct faculty.
Wonderful.
And worked again at the VA because it was enjoyable working with veterans. And now I'm still in a primary care clinic at Family Care Health Center.
Wonderful, wonderful. And so in addition to her outstanding resume, everybody, I mean, there's no doubt about that. And in addition to the work that you do, a couple of things that stand out. One, your emphasis has been on interpersonal violence, trauma,
Yes,
as well as working with chronic pain.
absolutely.
And so as we're in this epidemic of opioid abuse, and from a lot of people, research says that the gateway into heroin use for a lot of people has been through the use of abusing or becoming addicted to opioid pain medication.
Absolutely.
And for most people, I will say it really was legitimate. Prescriptions, medication was prescribed by very credible physicians, and somewhere along the way, people become addicted. And so you're in the process now, or you've completed. Talk to me first about this manualized treatment.
Part of with the opioid epidemic, just as you outlined, that a lot of it began, for most people, it began with prescription use and abuse. And here's the thing, while the pharmaceutical companies have said this is the way to treat chronic pain was never intended to be treated with long-term opioid use. It's a common trap that patients and then providers also find themselves in, treating chronic pain like acute pain. For acute pain, absolutely, a short-term use of those opioids can be helpful, just as rest being very protective. But when we talk about chronic pain, getting to the point where the pain is now chronic, like any other chronic disease that will persist, the emphasis goes on management. And so that's where I've found myself working in the area of chronic pain management. Because what I realized early on as a psychologist being in a primary care clinic, that pain, physical pain, was not the only thing that was being impacted.
That's right.
People were experiencing emotional pain as well because of the role changes. Not full-time work anymore, being more isolated, not going out as frequently because of pain and being concerned. And so there were many changes. So I talk about it as the pain experience, actually.
Okay.
Because there's more than what's going on at the tissue level.
Right.
And so that's sort of fast forward to where I am now. While I was at the VA, I got a smaller grant then, and I was able to implement a chronic pain management group as well, developed a manualized treatment, and have broadened that to where I am now, and recently awarded a grant from the Missouri Foundation for Health.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And see, and this is one of the things that on What's on Your Mind with Dr. Des, and I say this all the time, we are here to educate our community. We are here to demystify the myth of mental health and take the stigma away from that. And you said something that I think is very important, and I want our viewers to not miss the point that the connection is not just physical pain,
Absolutely.
the emotional pain.
The emotional pain. In fact, there were years ago I was working with a patient, and we were for months I should say, we were talking about her physical pain and looking at managing it, looking at getting in there. But because I had that trauma background, and I said, well, let me go ahead and ask these questions, let me screen. And sure enough, there was some there had been some sexual abuse.
Right.
And so once we began to address that, it was so interesting because at the same time I was running a trauma-focused group, got that patient into that group, and so followed up, as I did with every patient after the group. And one of the things with her, I talked about, well, what's that physical pain like? What's that pain? And she did, I was like, wait, how do you wave that off? We spent months working on it, and almost verbatim, she said, once we addressed the emotional pain, the physical pain became bearable.
Isn't that something? And that, again, that mind, body, spirit connection.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So that's a really nice segue, because I really want to spend the rest of our time talking about this project that you're working on. And it's fascinating to me, and I'm sure that it'll be fascinating to our viewing audience as well. It's called the Step Forward Project?
Yes, so it's a stepped care model.
Okay.
And it's a model that has been used in the VAs, in some of them nationally. And it's a model that says, so stepped care says, let's start with the lowest level of intensity of interventions and most cost effective. And as people are not benefiting or increase in complexity, then you increase the care. So it is it's comprised of a interdisciplinary team. So what I've done there at Family Care, and in the process of doing, is assembling.
I'm going to stop you right there. Explain to our audience what that means when you say interdisciplinary team.
Thank you. Yeah, so it's a team of multiple specialists in various disciplines. But it begins with the patient, because it's a self-management model. So the patient is, as I say, the captain of the team. The provider, the medical provider, the psychologist like me as a behavioral health consultant. I have a psychiatric pharmacist who's on the project. I have a nutritionist who's on the project, a community health worker. And the big thing that I'm really proud of, through this grant, we're able to provide chiropractic service, acupuncture, PT, and yoga.
That's impressive, because you really did take a holistic approach to this. And you really did not leave anything out that may be intersecting with that individual. That's phenomenal.
Again, it's not about just what's happening at the tissue level, right? And so when patients, I like to take the approach, just being in a primary care setting, of looking at what's within the patient's control. What can I do? What changes can I make that can turn down the volume on our pain? Because we recognize there are definitely things we can do to turn up the volume. So the nutritionist, as an example, is involved because there's some foods that will increase our inflammatory response.
That's right. That's right.
So I'm frequently asking questions about diet, their caffeine intake, nicotine, any alcohol use, because all of those things, and of course substance use, because all of those can have an impact not only on their pain, but their sleep. And so again, that pain experience.
Wow. What is your target audience that you're targeting in terms of, and then about how long does it take for a person to go through that program?
That's a great question. Thank you. And so those are questions that we're definitely in the midst of answering. So it begins again with the patient and the provider. The provider schedules are being adjusted to be an hour-long assessment, because again, we want that thorough picture of that whole person looking to intervene. Then there's some outcome questionnaires, meaning some assessment questions that we're going to do sort of pre and post, that will be a part of that visit. I'm able to hire a nurse care manager who will be part of this project as well. From there, the patient, after that initial visit, will come back in a couple of weeks, have that follow-up where they and the provider are putting together a treatment plan. And so it becomes very individualized. What does that patient need? What will they benefit from? Is it yoga that they need? How about a consultation with the with nutrition with the nurse care manager? How about going to the class that I offer? It's an 8-week cognitive behavioral therapy class centered around chronic pain management.
Wow.
And so once PT and chiropractic service are in place, when it's needed, if it's needed, then those are in place as well. And a big emphasis is also on education with this project. So each month there'll be a talk by each one of the professions on the team, and they're going to talk to an audience, a patient audience, but also a separate provider audience, because we want everyone to have the same message.
This is just too good to be true, and I don't want anyone who's out there in our viewing audience to possibly miss out on this level of treatment. So, one, is there a referral process, briefly? And then number two, how can someone contact and reach you?
Okay, great. So Family Care is a federally qualified health center.
Okay.
And so my services are attached to patients who are patients there.
Okay.
But we serve the uninsured and underinsured. So anyone is able to call and to apply to become a patient there.
Okay.
And you're open to these services. Family Care's number is 314-353-5190. And an email address for me is P as in Papa, PYE, so that's PYE at fchcstl.org.
Again, I want to say thank you to our very well qualified expert, Dr. Patrice Pye. And once again, thank you for tuning in and sharing on What's on Your Mind with Dr. Des, and where we are transforming lives and renewing minds.
I told you we had a jam-packed broadcast. What's on Your Mind with Dr. Des was great as usual. And we want to thank our guest, Mr. Edwin Edvanzd, Morrow, producer, actor, musician from East St. Louis, Illinois, who's working on a new film called The Bee. Keep your ears and eyes open for that. Tune in to Smiles wherever you are with the P. Chapman app. Just download it. You can see us on Dynasty TV and the Charter cable channels. Just search out and find Smiles TV. Remember, only what you do for Christ will last. Jesus is the Lord. The Lord be magnified. Keep smiling. You look better when you smile.
Hi, my name is Sterling Moody. I'm the owner of Neighbors Market, 1005 North 15th Street, on the Echo Jazz building across from Emerson Park Metrolink stop. We have fresh barbecue Friday and Saturdays. We have Sunday through Saturday, open from 7 to 7. Look forward to seeing you in the store.
The Smiles Television Talk Show wants to showcase your business, organization, church, and activities. If you have an interest in being a guest on Smiles Television Talk Show, or if you have any show ideas, contact Stephanie Anthony Miles at smilestv777@gmail.com. You may also call 618-741-3770. Tell your friends to subscribe to the Smiles YouTube channel. Let Smiles TV increase your reach. Remember, you look better with smiles. IDEX Media does a lot. From IDEX Photography to IDEX Films. We help create forever memories and forever impressions. Image a nation, image a world. IDEX Media.
Awesome sauce. Yeah, baby.